Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Chad Marks. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Bill? How are you?
I'm good. How you been?
I've been good. What's going on?
Same old stuff, man. Trying to
Did you,
move ahead and
did you play the little video of the kids missing from Connecticut?
no, I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
It's not a video. It's just so if anybody out there has any information on any of these kids, I'm just gonna show these pictures real quick, and the link for the website is on the channel. So I just wanted to show this real quick. And if there's anybody that has information, just get in touch with Exploited National Center for Exploited and Missing Children. Because if I can do anything to help anybody, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I really like that you do that. I didn't know you did that.
Now I just started doing it a couple episodes back, but hey, if it can help somebody,
100%, man.
So I want to talk to you about some of the mob guys that you ran into on your time in prison, and
Okay.
what you thought about them and like how they acted.
So who do you want to ask me about, Bill?
Who's the first person that you came across that you were like, oh shit? And did you recognize them?
Okay, so honestly, I wasn't fascinated by some people are fascinated by people in prison, right? So I wasn't really fascinated by too many people, but one of the people that I was a little bit fascinated by, I'm not gonna lie, was Whitey Bulger, man. And I wasn't we were in the hole at the same time, right? So I wasn't on the compound with him. He was in the hole at the same time I was in the hole. I was in the hole for like 11, 12 months. He was on cell alone, rec alone. So when I would go to rec, he'd always be in the rec cage next to me, man. And I just talked to him. I used to ask him questions, and he told me to shut up one time. He was a real, he was arrogant, cocky. I know, people say a lot of bad stuff about the dude and whatever, but you know what, man? I kind of wanted to know about certain things, and I would ask him things, and he would talk a little bit,
Yeah. Did he tell you about Did he tell you about the treachery that he was involved in, like talking to the police and everything, or no?
No, he wouldn't really talk about that. I mean, he pretty much told me like, hey, look, all these stories are lies. Of course, that was his defense. But he would tell me that whoever the dude was, someone told me his name before, I forgot. But whoever that dude was that was writing the articles, he's like, look, man, I was on the run. He said, if I could have came out, I would have killed this dude. I'd have bit his fingers off. I'd have killed this dude for sure. And he talked bad about the agent, the Conley dude. He used to talk shit about him. He's just an old man. But let me tell you something. He doesn't look, the way that he looked when he was arrested. He didn't look like that when he was in prison. He looked old, decrepit. It was over with. But honestly, man, you could see death in his eyes. Like
he looked frail, right? He said he looked frail, right?
Yeah, he was very frail, bro.
Yeah,
and he just had that look, man. I used to feel like when you seen old people in prison, you could tell that they were on the verge of dying. Like you could just see it. But you could see in his eyes, man, that he was a killer, man. And Steve Caracappa had the same eyes as this cat. And I'm not just saying that for your show, but it's just certain people, you see it in them, man. And I seen that in Whitey, man, and I seen it in Steve.
Steve's the one on the right, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
On my right.
So can you see Whitey Bulger when you were talking to him through the cell?
Yeah, we were in rec cages, man. We were outside in the rec cage. So I would see him every day. And sometimes they believe it. Really, you're only supposed to get an hour out 5 days a week, but sometimes we'd be out there for 3-4 hours, man.
Was he worried that he was gonna get into an altercation over him telling thing?
It's not something that he really talked about, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could tell that he was embarrassed, so he had his reasons or excuses or stuff like that. But the only thing that the dude really seemed to care about was the chick that whoever that chick was that was on the run with him. He cared about her a lot. He talked to me about her a lot, and it bothered him that he would never get to see her again. He felt like it was over with. Like, so.
I'm gonna see if I could pull her up.
What was her name, man? Catherine? Was that her name, Catherine?
I don't know. I'm gonna look her up.
While you're looking that up, man, I'm going to tell your subscribers, man, to check me out, Blood on the Razor Wire TV.
Yeah.
I promise you will not be disappointed. But we have a different mission, man, to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death through our stories and experiences. But I promise you, you'll like it. We give away books on Sunday nights. So on our Sunday Night Live this week, we're going to be giving away some books. I promise you will not put the book down, and you might win one for free. We'll definitely show up Sunday night, 8 o'clock.
Here she is, man.
He was in love with her. See how he looks here? He looked like that man when he was in prison, bro. He didn't look like that in prison at all. He looked like someone's old, decrepit grandfather.
Did he know he was going to go to another facility? And what facility were you with him in?
I was with him in Coleman, man. And we were in the hole back there. And he didn't know. I didn't discuss that with him, dude. I'm not going to start freestyling on it. I didn't discuss that stuff with him.
Yeah.
I talked to him a lot about, like, he was in Alcatraz and told me about him getting sprayed with water, freezing cold water. And, I had a 40-year sentence at the time, bro. And I was just like, I ended up getting out on compassionate release after Trump passed the first step back. But, man, I really picked his brain about, I guess I could say it now. In my mind, dude, I was plotting, like, how to get out of prison as far as escaping, dude. And I would ask him a lot of stuff like, how were you on the run so long? Like, what did you do? Did you do this? Did you do that? I was asking him that stuff in my young mind because I felt like maybe my only way out was to escape. And I was trying to figure out how to do it.
If you could find an opportunity or a way, I'm sure you would have tried, right?
I had so many plans, dude. I had a lot of plans, but they never panned out. And thank God, because I eventually ended up getting out on that compassionate release. But I would ask him, like, how'd you stay free? He said, listen, the cops aren't looking for you during the day. He said, you go out there in the day, and at night, you stay in the house. He said, people get pulled over at night, something stupid, coasting through a stop sign, being in the wrong place when a robbery took place at, like, a Burger King. He said, you just stay away from that stuff, man. He said, you stay in at night. That's how you get away.
Her name's Catherine.
Catherine.
Gurnier?
I don't know her last name. Greer? She Irish? I think so.
I don't know.
So what else you want to ask me, man? Let's go.
Who are some of the other people you ran into? I know it was Steve Caracappa, right?
Yep. I was in USP Big Sandy, right? That was my first prison. Yeah. I was over there with Vic Amuso. I ended up in Coleman with Vic, and he was a really nice dude, man. Honestly, he was. People are like watching this show, probably, oh, he's a nice dude, man. They were killing people, but when you met him, dude, he was like your friend's grandfather. Seriously.
Yeah.
He used to get the New York newspapers. He would give me the papers. Just a really nice guy, man. And we ended up in Coleman at the same time years later. And Caracappa came there. Caracappa had left Victorville. It was either Victorville or I'm almost positive it was Victorville. They didn't crush him over there, even though he was a cop. They pretty much we got a homeboy, man, from the East Coast, from Boston, and he was the shot caller, man, believe it or not, for the Aryan Brotherhood in a California prison. Like, that's unheard of. And I think he allowed Steve to leave. And he said, look, man, you were a cop, but you were a criminal, and pretty much let him leave the yard. And then he ended up coming to Coleman. And I was his cellie for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they don't give him protective custody because he was a police officer.
Man, it's a little different story, man. They sent him to one of the worst, if not the worst, federal prison at that time with the most violence, dude. They sent him to that one, or I think it was Victorville. And they let him leave the yard, which is, surprising to me. They actually let him leave. And, he was just like more to himself, quiet. I remember an incident when I seen him walking through the metal detector, like the cops pulled him over. And I remember saying to myself, ain't that the fall from grace right there, where, you were a big homicide detective, and, investigating the murders that he was kind of allegedly doing, right? And now you're getting pulled over and patted down
for a bologna sandwich that you stole and you're bringing back to the block.
Anybody that's watching the show and that was in prison with him, they'll remember this. The dude he was always taking fruit out, apples. He'd have 3 or 4 apples in his pocket. And I just remember him going through the metal detector and taking out his radio and his headphones and having to put them up there. And he's got like these droopy clothes on. He had long hair at the time. It was just, I don't know, man. I think he grew the long hair to try to, change his appearance maybe. But
like blend in maybe so people want to.
Maybe. And it was just amazing, man, that, you're in prison with this dude. And, I talked to him. I picked his brain a little bit about investigations and how, things go and, what cops do, because I was a jailhouse lawyer. So that was my focus talking to him.
His partner is the reason why he got caught, right? Because he wrote the book. Did he tell you anything? Did he tell you anything about that?
Nope. That dude was real personal, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. Dude was real personal. I was with Eppolito too. Me, Guy Fisher. I don't know if you know Guy Fisher. He's the first black man to ever own the Apollo Theater. And we were all together, man. We were in Tucson before they changed it to a sex offender prison. They were changing it right around that time when Eppolito and them got there. And like I said, I don't like talking bad about people, man. But he was kind of dirty, man. He was big. He was fat. He wasn't a bodybuilder no more. And he lived with this black dude from DC, and he used to pay him to like clean the toilet for him and stuff. Dude, he used to shit on the toilet. He was horrible, dude. He ate like a wild bull. You ever eat and people are like,
yeah.
And you're just like,
they just got no manners, no class, no nothing.
No, he was horrible, man. And I did a video on this kid the other day, Omar Spearman. We were all together in the same unit. And I mean, we were all in the same prison back then with Eppolito too. The kid I was talking about, Omar Spearman, started with 20 years and ended up with life. He won a post-conviction motion, thought he won, went back, and they said, look, we had all these murders on you and we let you ride, but now we're going to take you to trial and we're going to give you life. And the reason I'm talking about Omar is because Omar used to despise Eppolito. He used to tell me, look at this fat motherfucker. He was a black dude from Detroit, from Flint, Michigan. And he used to despise the dude, man.
Yeah, did you notice a lot of people that were like, fuck them cops? And did they know that they were police officers? Was it like well known in the yard?
Yeah, but listen, man, honestly, like a lot of people on that yard, man, were dropout gang members, man. So it's a dropout gang member yard. So everybody was just kind of trying to make it now. You know what I mean? I mean, you had top-notch dudes on these yards, bro. People that were, big shot, Mexican Mafia dudes, Texas Syndicate dudes. You had some, DWB dudes. You just had, there were dropouts on that yard, man.
Yeah.
And things were just different there,
Shout out to Damien, the Omen Trites, and Stu Pigeons. I'm surprised, like, how people will intentionally go to the dropout yard just to fuck somebody up? I've seen that happen. Yeah.
I've seen that happen on 2 occasions, man.
You did? You want to talk about it?
I've seen these Indian kids. They ended up on the yard with us when we were in Arizona, right? And I seen them viciously attack this dude on a handball court, man. And they weren't really dropouts. They were there for about a week, and they did what they had to do. I not dropout, but I seen a TS dude come on the yard. I think it was when I was in USP Lee, and he played it cool like he wasn't. And he got out there and hit a paisa, and he destroyed this dude, man. But he just came out because they got beef or whatever back then. I don't know what their beef is now, but I seen him come out there and stab this old man, and I was just like, I don't know, I kind of felt bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is actually live, man. What's up, Jason?
Jason, what's up? Dropout yard. Is that protection? Let me tell you something about USP Coleman too, right? It is a dropout yard. And some people do go there for protection, right? But when you get there, all those dudes that are dropout gang members that used to beef, like the Norteños are beefing with the Southsiders, they end up being their own gang. and they get busy, bro. They be, and then the white dudes that drop out of gangs, it's almost like they form as a gang. And the Pisces were on that yard. They weren't dropouts, but they were just regular, regular dudes, man.
I know it. Like, I mean, these people say they drop out, but then they go around these other dudes and they congregate together. So obviously they're gonna stick together,
Let me tell you something too, man. Just because people are dropouts or whatever, it's not always where you you don't go up there and be like, hey, I'm gonna tell on these dudes and I'm gonna, be a dropout. And it doesn't always work that way. Like, I had a kid that I used to work out with, man, and he was a big shot Southsider at one time. And all he did was he lost a kite in transit. And he had a life sentence. He was supposed to pass a kite. He lost the kite. I think he used the bathroom. He did something. And some of them kites are so small and the writing's so small you can hardly even see it.
Yeah.
And he lost that kite, man, and he was in the hat. And they hit him. You know what I mean? And once they hit him, that was it.
If you say I'm the guy, I lose the kite, he gets in trouble with the gang or with the facility.
No, he was in trouble with the gang, with his big homie. And he ended up in Coleman too. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all your information. You let out the information. You can't do that.
He lost the kite and it's over with. I mean, they'll kill you, man. You know what I mean? There's people that will kill you, bro. I've been in some dangerous places. That don't make me a tough guy or anything like that. But I've been in some dangerous places, and dudes can get on these shows and say what they want to say. But Coleman too was a dangerous place. I seen a Latin King dude, the kid I'm telling you about, told him, hey, look, man, he stole the dude's radio. And he's like, man, I'm from New York. I'm a Latin King. And really, he's not, bro. He was a dropout. And the Southsider kid that I used to work out with, he said, hey, look, check this out, homie. I know you took my radio. I'm giving you a little bit of time to replace my shit. My shit better be back on my locker. And it wasn't. And what do you think they went out and did? They butchered that kid out on the yard, man. So, I mean, there was a vicious riot there in 2008 between the what were they, Central Americans and the Pisces. I think a couple people were shot and killed from the tower. So don't think because it's a dropout yard that people don't get busy, because they do.
Of course, man. They get busy in every single state. Like, a lot of people think because I'm from Connecticut, like, it's not crazy in prison here. Prison's just as crazy here as it is in New York or Boston or anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, hey, prison. Listen, man, you could be in one of the nicest, softest prisons, and it can erupt the next day. Prison is always subject to change.
Definitely. You could feel the tension in the air too. Like, when there's a problem in the facility, you could feel that shit.
Always, at all times, man. Anytime that something's going on, you just become accustomed to recognizing, like in the feds. I think Jason was in the feds too. When a dude, we call it suited and booted. When you see a dude that never has his boots on and he's got his khakis on and his boots, they're about to do something. You know what I mean? Something's going to happen. That's just how it goes. I had for instance, I had a homeboy, man, Aaron Pike. Aaron sentenced to life. He's from Jamestown, New York. Got a couple life sentences, represented himself. He's involved in something in Hazleton. Really, he just told these dudes that were independents through the window in sign language, or they accused him of, like, hey, man, be careful because those AB dudes are coming over there tomorrow. Well, the independents knew, so they were ready. And it didn't work out for the white gang members over there. One of them was a dude named Chance from Ohio. And he ended up coming to Big Sandy, got transferred, and these dudes he was my cellie, dude. And they stabbed him like 30-something times, right? And really, dude, they had the wrong guy. They stabbed the wrong dude. So it's not like Aaron signed up and said, hey, man, put me in PC, but they end up state placing him. Was he a little bit nervous? He was. They end up state placing him. They sent him to a state prison, and he sat over there for maybe 10, 11 years, right? I think he went to a couple different state prisons. And he wanted to come back. Excuse me, I got a little cold. He wanted to come back to the feds, man. He was tired of being in, these raggedy ass state prisons. And now he's in Terre Haute, man. And
a lot of people say that, the feds is better than state. Can we clear that up, man?
I would rather be in New York State prison any day of the week than federal prison. Like I said, man, I've been in USP Pollock, I've been in USP Lee, I've been in USP Big Sandy. That's where I started. my state prison, New York's a dangerous place. You know, they got a reputation. You know, people getting cut in the face and a lot of gangs, a lot of blood stuff there. New York State prison couldn't hold a match to federal prison, man. In federal prison, people look for reasons just to do shit to people because they're miserable. You know, they have nothing in life. They've lost everything. And I'm sure, you know, your viewers have heard about cars and shot callers and, you know, all of that type of stuff, right? So let me tell you something. Them guys, like there's a guy named Steve Burke. He's from Boston, right? They did that movie loosely based. The town is loosely based on his case. Anthony Shea, I think Maddie McDonald, a bunch of those guys. And Steve had a life sentence. He had nothing left. So the only thing he had left was he wanted to be the shot caller, right? And he was the shot caller of the East Coast Guard. And, you know, he would send people on missions, dummy missions. This guy sat at the table, smash him. Hey, this guy, you know, he disrespected me in the chow hall, stab him. And you got a lot of young, influential kids that pretty much will do anything that the shot caller asks them to do.
Yeah.
And I caught on very early. I was like, man, I was a leader in the street. I'm not coming into prison to be a follower of this dude who's running around sniffing dope and what. Dude, you don't tell me what to do. And pretty much, yeah, just the dude, you know, you get guys that are like that. They got nothing in life. And all they have in life is their car. And unfortunately, they make bad decisions. So I was in New York State prison too when I was younger. And back then, the older guys were educated, right? Like I lived in the cell next door to Herman Bell. I was in prison with one of the people that allegedly killed Malcolm X. These guys back then, these brothers back then were educated and they wanted to push education on people. And, you know, the older guys were like, hey, man, do this or do the right thing. You know, go to school, get a degree, you know, try to keep yourself out of prison. And unfortunately, a lot of these cats in, you know, federal prison that got life and stuff, they're misdirecting kids. They're misdirecting the younger guys, the youngsters that are coming in. They're teaching them all the wrong things instead of the right things.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, go to school, do this, stay away from the violence.
No, they ain't teaching them that stuff. And for real, Bill, I mean, we can get out here and glamorize prison and get a whole bunch of hits and clickbaits and all that good stuff. But really, there should be a message because when you look around and you got a son, you have to think that you don't want your son in prison. You don't want your son to go to bed hungry at night. You know, you want to be able to throw a football with your son, or you want your son to be there for his grandson when you're not there. So that should be people's agenda. That should be people's message. It's not always that way, man.
This dude wants to know if you ever been to Lake George.
Yeah, I have been to Lake George. When I was a kid, man, my parents used to take me.
Dr. Vinny Boombats wants to know if you spent any time in Texas prison.
Never. Thank God. I was never in Beaumont or none of that. I was in USP Pollock, pretty dangerous place. USP Big Sandy, USP Lee. I've been around USP Coleman. I spent almost 18 years of my life in federal prison straight. I was sentenced to 40 years at the age of 24. Ended up getting out because Donald Trump passed the First Step Act. I was sentenced 10 years for the crack cocaine, 5 years for the first gun, 25 for the second gun. It's called 924C stacking, and they all have to run wild. Really, I had 80 years, but 40 of it was ran with the other 40. And when they passed the First Step Act, they said, hey, these 924C stack charges, and a lot of mob guys got these. When they changed it, they said, hey, look, this stuff's wrong by giving people 5, 25, 25, 25, 25, when it's all part, of the same indictment. Yeah. So under the Trump administration, they changed it to 5, 5, 5, 5.
It should be consecutive, right? Instead of concurrent.
Yeah, but they lowered the penalty. It's no longer 25, now it's 5. So with me, I had 2 guns. So I had 5 for the first gun, 5 for the second, and 10 for the drugs when the judge resentenced me. He didn't have to. But
so they only gave you for 1 gun.
No.
Is that what you mean or no?
I got 10 years for the crack. I was a crack dealer. Not happy about it. Got 10 for the crack, 5 years for the first gun, and 25 for the second gun, which made it a 40-year sentence. The Trump administration passed the First Step Act, and they reduced that second 25 years to 5 years. So now it was 10, 5, and 5.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up getting out.
That's pretty crazy, man.
To die in prison or get out. I was in the 60s with no family or social integration, any type of employment. All that stuff would have been dead. I would have been like the dude on Shawshank Redemption, bro.
And there's a lot of people in there that are never coming home. You were around a lot of them, right?
Around plenty of them, man. Plenty of people like that. Vicamuso, you know. Caracappa died in prison. Eppolito died in prison.
Yep.
Whitey Bulger was murdered in prison. And, you know,
Frankie,
it's not just mob guys, but there's dudes, you know, I've been with kids that went in. I got a guy right now, 30 years old. He went in when he was 19. He's 30 years old. He's been in 30 years. Called me today. I own a paralegal and prison consultant firm. When a lot of cases get a lot of people out of jail that deserve to get out. And he called me like, please, he was begging me to help him today. And he don't have no money. He told me I'm going to do this case for free. You know, I take that, you know, when people got life sentences, man, I know what it's like not to be able to pay an attorney. I know what it's like to have the best issue in the world and can't get out of jail. And, you know,
and that's awesome that you do that, man. You give these dudes a chance and you give them hope, you know?
And I ended up I wrote the first compassionate release motion in the country to win, right? It was for a dude named Conrado Cantu out of Texas. And I wrote my own motion and I filed it. And some of your viewers, because, you know, this is a mob kind of channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
My lawyer who came and said, hey, look, I want to help you for free. I had a lawyer that finally wanted to help me. It was John Gleason. So I'm sure your viewers know who John Gleason is. Do you?
I heard of the name.
Okay, so John Gleason is the guy that prosecuted John Gotti. After that prosecution, he became a federal judge for 22 years. Stepped down from the bench because he felt like, you know, people were getting smashed and he didn't agree with it. So he stepped down and he started a compassionate release 924C project. And he helped me get out of prison. You know, I followed my own stuff, but he stepped in and said, hey, look, you know, I think you've done a lot of good things since you've been in prison. You got a college education. You completed over 100 programs. You teach GED classes. You turned your life around the last 10 years. The first 8 years, I was an animal, bro. I didn't care. Thought I was going to die in prison, but I ended up, you know, making that turn. So he took over my case. And for real, by the grace of God, I ended up getting out of prison. But a lot of it probably had to do with him and the respect that he had and the credibility that he had with my judge. So he saved me, and he saved 100 people since then.
This dude wants to know if the Italian mobsters are respected in prison when you were there.
They're not disrespected. They're, you know, in the places that I've been, they're not looking for trouble. They just do them. I mean, people ain't robbing them and doing shit like that. That's not happening. And believe it or not, man, in the places I've been, like in Big Sandy, you know, a lot of the mob guys, Italian guys, they're from New York, and they had close relationships with the black dudes from the city. So there were times where if there was really an issue, there would be black New York dudes that would step up, bro, for real.
Yeah, because it would just go by where you're from, right? It doesn't matter about color, kind of.
Well, federal maximum security prisons are really racially segregated. But when it comes to New York and Italians from New York, in the prisons that I've been in, they're usually close with the black dudes from New York.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, man, hell nah, he's from New York, bro. That ain't happening. And they'll step up. You know what I mean? But it ain't like the mob guys are in there paying people for protection or none of that. I mean, I've been with some really, you know, I've been with dudes in Raybrook, man, and I can't remember all of their names, but I was over there with some dudes, Italian dudes and mobsters that were just, you know, tough dudes. They didn't take no shit. There was a bald head dude over there in Raybrook. I can't think of his name, man. He ended up going home. But he was a tough guy, man. Straight up. Didn't give a shit. Worked out every day. Strong as an ox. And he wasn't going for no bullshit. And he wasn't going to let no bullshit go with his people. So.
Have you ever seen any of these mobster dudes get punked when you were in there?
No. They don't have them type of problems, bro. Men respect men. And in federal prison, it's not like the shit you see on the movies, man. Are there people that get robbed? And yeah, like when they go to a low security and they're chomos and shit like that, yeah. But no, man, men respect men. I have never really seen anybody punk a mob dude in prison, bro. Never.
Brian wants to know, did the Italians get along with the Aryan Brotherhood?
Well, when I was in Big Sandy, right? There were some AB dudes there, and Vic was there. And it was kind of like Vic didn't really care for him. He didn't express that to them, but you know, he'd be like, yeah, this fucking guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's irrelevant, man. Like,
I could hear that way they talk, man. This fucking guy, get him the fuck out of here.
You know, Vic was like that. I like Vic, man.
So, damn, I wanted to ask you something. I forgot, man. Do you think a lot of people say that federal prison is better than state prison because they were in the lower level federal facilities? Why do people say that all the time?
Well, here, I'm going to tell you why. Because years ago it was. It's not like that anymore. Years ago, they weren't sending dudes standing on the corner with an 8-ball of crack in their pocket and a pistol. They weren't sending crack dealers like myself back then to federal prison. They were more upper class people, more respectful. The food was better. The people were better. Their character was better.
Yeah, it was a higher class of people. And now that they let in all these lower level people, it's open the shit show, basically.
100%. And that's what the difference is. That's why it's not like that anymore, man.
Because a lot of people, man, they always say, federal prison's way better. And I'm thinking, prison's not better, man. It doesn't matter where you go. I don't want to be in prison.
I say that all the time, that, your best day in prison can't even come close to your worst day out here. I'd rather be out here on my worst day than being there on my best day. You know what I mean?
Me too, man.
Definitely.
Rikers Island is a horror. Have you been?
That's one place I would never want to be. You know what I mean? Never. I've never been there. Never want to be there.
Never been there?
I will not commit a crime in New York City. I don't commit crimes anymore, man. Like I said, I own a paralegal and prison consultant firm. Got a home improvement company where I hire dudes, coming out of prison that really want a job, really want to work, doing a bunch of roofing, bunch of painting. Got the YouTube channel going. So I don't commit crimes, bro. Don't want to.
Yeah, and if you guys want to check out his channel, the link for his channel is in the description for this video. So what's your plan for the future, man? Just keep doing everything that you're doing?
My plan for the future is to, keep doing what I'm doing and, eventually get into these schools, talk to kids. I got a partner in North Carolina, man. I've been trying to hook this up for a while. Learned a lot from that dude. Just help people, man. I like helping people. I'm one of them dudes. I know what it's like to be in there, like I said, and wondering, man, am I ever going to get out of here? Am I ever going to see my mother again? Am I ever going to, spend a Christmas with my family? What is it like to have a real Thanksgiving? Holidays were tough, man. And I'll never forget those days. Even my chain, I got a dog tag on with my prison number because it reminds me every day to make the right decision. So
I got my prison number, the $100 bill, man.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Hey, it stays with you forever.
Live the crazy life, man. It's not a life that I want to live and not a life that, anybody should want to live. Crime is over with. That it's overrated, man. Going to prison, man, it's not what you see, man. It's not what you think.
It's definitely not, man. You don't win a medal because you went there,
And the feds have no problem with giving you a life sentence. They don't care how old you are. They don't care if you're 19 years old. They don't care if you're 70. They don't care if your mother's dying. They don't care if you need to go to a funeral. They don't care about any of that stuff. That stuff's all out the window. These are, some of the most unremorseful people you'll ever encounter in your life. And they'll smile at you when they give you life and wish you the best of luck.
How long did it take Chad to adjust into civilian life?
Well, I've been home for 15 months now. It was difficult for me when I first got out I used to sleep with a knife. I'd actually go to sleep with a knife in my hand. It was difficult for me to cross the street for a long time when cars are going by. And now, like the stoplights they count down and everything now for 10, 9, 8. And just being in public places, it's hard for me to go in, like big places, Walmart. I still sit with my back when I go to a restaurant to the wall. And I used to think that stuff was all bullshit, Bill. When I was in prison, PTSD, and I'd be like, that's nonsense. I've seen people, stabbed to death in prison. I've seen people beat to death in prison. I was in some dangerous places. And I used to think, you become immune to that stuff. But I really think that PTSD is real. Once you get out of prison, we got it.
I used to think the same thing. Anxiety, PTSD. I'd be like, fucking pussies, man. Just get over it,
But it's difficult, man. Some of it is difficult, man. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's like I believe that I think everyone has it to a certain extent, and it's all about how you take care of how you address your situation. And basically, that's it, man.
For sure. It's not an easy road. Getting out of prison is not an easy road, but thankfully I had, friends and family and people behind me, to kind of help push me and, help me. One of the biggest problems I had, and I still have at times, is using a credit card. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want people to say, hey, look at this dummy. You can't even use a credit. What are you taking so long for? And I get frustrated because sometimes I'll go to a gas station and I'll try to use my card and I put it in backwards. I didn't put it in the right way. I hit the number and then I forget to hit the OK, the green thing. I mean, I'm starting to catch on 15 months later, but yeah, some things are difficult, man. And being in prison so long, walking out here, you see, the phones or computers with a phone on it. Just everything's difficult. Technology is difficult. Learning how to download Zoom and, putting videos together and editing for my YouTube channel. That stuff's I was paying someone to do it.
You're doing pretty good, man.
Well, I'm trying for sure.
Hey, you won't know if you don't try. You won't know.
It's not about me. Like I tell people all the time, I don't live off YouTube. YouTube does not pay my bills. I own a paralegal and prison consultant firm. I do really well. The home improvement company's taking off. I do YouTube because honestly, a little bit, it's therapeutic. And I really think it helps some people. It really helps some people. And I've had FBI agents on there. I've had a DEA agent on there. I bring other prisoners on there that I was in prison with. I read, some chapters out of my book and tell some of the stuff that happens in prison. But there's always a message at the end, man.
Ask Chad if he was with my uncle Brian Hoyle.
Where's he from? I don't remember. What year and where is he from? I left Raybrook. I was in Raybrook from 2014 or 15 to 2019, I think. It's hard to remember all that stuff. But I left in early 2019 and went to FMC Lexington. Brian Hoyle.
What's up, Cannon LLC? What's good, man?
I think if he's talking about the dude that I think he's talking about.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
He had a Brian, bald-headed dude, short, maybe from Maine. I think I was there with him, if that's the dude that he's talking about. Actually, he facilitated a program with him.
Well, Damien's from Springfield, Mass.
Well, if he chimes back in, I want to see if he leaves that, if he tells us who it is. I want to know if he was a bald-head dude, had a bunch of time in. Short, kind of chubby.
Ask Chad to talk about Colombia.
Who, Boris? Hey, man, I think Boris played me, man. I did a video on the Colombian prisons. We sent him some money to buy food for all them guys. He told me he needed some money for a lawyer. Okay, so he's like, dude, I could get out today, please. He sent me a bunch of documents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some other people had donated. There's a dude that donated $150. So I put the 150 with another 50 and I sent it to the dude. And I'm like, hey, when you get out, man, let's do an interview. And now he's writing me in Spanish talking about it. This is his aunt. He can't have communication on social media. So if you're asking about Boris, hey, I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I think the dude might have played me. And for real, I just blocked the dude today. Like, man, you're a clown, man. I don't have no problem helping you. Just be honest, bro. Tell me you need some money because you're hungry, and we'll see what we can do. Don't feed me and send me a bunch of paperwork on like what are they, screenshots? Come on, dude, you're killing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yo, Damien, he said what year was it and where was he from?
Is he a bald head dude? Ask him that. I think I know exactly who he is, man. He used to work in the library. Brian did.
This dude says, I love your hat, Yankees for life.
Yeah, no matter what, even though Boston did what they had to do, unfortunately. And it's green because I'm Irish, kid. Is this dude answering you or what?
He ask him, man. He keeps writing the same thing. He thinks so. What year was it? And where is he from?
He must not have the volume on. I'm still a little sick, so if I cough, man, I apologize to you and the viewers.
So if you guys want a copy of his book, the link for his YouTube is in the description of this video. And where can they get a copy of your book from?
Damn, I should have grabbed one. You can get a copy, a signed autograph copy from us, freedomfighterspc@gmail.com. It's $25. That's shipping and handling. If you buy it from Amazon, I get like $2 a book. I can promise you, go check out the reviews on Amazon. And you can read the first, I think, 2 or 3 chapters for free on there. If you like it, hit us up, man. We'll send you out a autographed copy. I promise you, if you read the first 3 chapters, you're going to want the book.
He said, yeah, he probably was. He said, what year? And I think it keeps doing the same question over and over.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's doing that.
We're sorry, Damien.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, man.
It's all good, man.
But yo, man, you're doing some commendable stuff, and I appreciate you.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you, and I know, when I was going through trouble with getting them videos edited, you extended your hand, tried to help me out. They didn't look the best, but we got some of them done. And
anything you need, man.
I appreciate you, man, for real, and I appreciate what you're doing. And what you just did with them kids on the front, man, made me have a lot more respect for you. For real.
Thank you, man.
Like, I respect that. And everybody tuning into your channel should respect that.
Cannon, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Well,
Shit, man.
That dude's looking out for you, bro.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Cannon, good dude, man. He appreciates you.
Hell yeah.
So what's up? You want to ask me anything else? Or what?
I'm doing a toy drive pretty soon, man. I'm gonna get a toy drive going so that for Christmas time we could get some kids some toys and make their holiday a little more special than.
That's what's up. I want to steal that idea from you. Do you mind?
What?
I want to do a toy drive.
Long as I get a cut, man, I don't mind.
We'll make sure you get all the rubber ducks. Whatever they donate, if there's any rubber ducks, we'll send them over your way.
Yeah, man.
That's a really good idea, man. There's a lot of kids that need that. You got people tuning in that are donating money. It's all right, man, to make $1 if you're making a difference, and it's all right to give back, man. So
when you found out you were leaving prison, yeah, were you like having anxiety, like, holy shit, I don't know how I'm gonna function out there? Were you having like, what were your thoughts?
No, I carried myself in prison like I was a free man. You would never know that I had a 40-year sentence if you were in prison with me. So when I won, of course, I was like excited. And I remember reading it on the computer and I had like 1 minute left. And there was a message. I believe the message was from John Gleason's partner, Marisa Taney, another wonderful lawyer out of New York City. And she said, I am happy to tell you that your motion was granted. And then the computer went off. And I couldn't use it for another 30 minutes. And I was there during the whole COVID thing. And I'm like, man, am I going to be able to get on this computer? And I was like, oh, shit, I won. I called my buddy, Jimmy Romans. He's like, Jimmy. He lived 3 cells down from me. He had a life sentence for marijuana. I ended up getting out of prison. I wrote his clemency petition while in prison. And Trump granted it. But when I got out, I put the pedal to the metal and, pushed a lot of important people to help Jimmy. So Jimmy's out and he's free. But, yeah, I was just like, Jimmy. This is the dude I would walk around in the yard with and tell him sometimes. I say, man, you think I'm ever going to get out of here, man? And he's like, man, I hope you do. And he'd be like, you think I am? I'd be like, man, I hope you do, man. And now we're both free, man, by the grace of God.
That's awesome, man. And damn, I keep forgetting what I was gonna say. It's very commendable what you do, man. Some people get out of prison, they forget everything, and just like they don't even look in the rearview mirror. They forget all the people and they just move on with their life. But you haven't done that. And it's commendable.
I appreciate it. I told dudes when I left, man, I'd be the voice of the voiceless, and I meant it. I had heard so many people leave prison and say, hey, man, when I get out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I've been doing this for, 18 years I spent in prison. I wasn't going to come home and be a chef. This is my line of work. This is what I do. And it's important to help people, man, that are left behind and know what it feels like. That's why I'm not involved I don't care, man. I'm not going to get involved YouTube beefs and all that stuff's like, that's not what it's about. The channel's not about me. The movement's not about me. It's about saving people from going down that road that I was on and being miserable and wishing someone would help you when you got a 40-year sentence, you got a life sentence, you got a 20-year sentence. And, you know, and a lot of your guys that come on here, you know, a lot of dudes that are tuning in are probably mobsters, ended up, you know, they got a family member in their life, or they did 10, 15 years. That shit hurts, man. That shit hurts. You see Dana's comment?
Yeah, our system is screwed up. Get a life sentence for weed. The pedo gets slap on the wrist. Definitely true.
You could look at the dude from, what was it, Subway. What he ended up with, 15 years, 8 months? And he was doing vicious things to kids, man. Jared Fogle.
Man, anyone that does anything to kids, man, they should be out.
100%. 100%. I believe that.
So do you think it would have been a lot harder for you if you didn't have anyone on the outside trying to put your life together?
Walking out of prison, yeah, I'm sure it probably would. I mean, you get out, you don't have housing, you don't have clothing, you don't have a support system. I mean, your reentry is going to be very difficult.
Is there any type of program they have for people? Anything?
You know, different places have different programs, right? Some, you know, unfortunately, man, what I've seen out here is, you know, you got all these programs, all these people are funded. It's all a big scam, man. They're taking tax dollars and acting like they're doing this and they're doing that. It's all a scam. Everybody's got a scam, dude, from the court system to the rehab. So now, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of them are. So, you know, for example, you get out, you're on federal parole, and they tell you, hey, you got to go to counseling over here. Well, then people got the contract with them. So, you know, it's like a big up when they get that contract, right? It's like a life-changing thing. They're probably making, you know, maybe $1 million a year with that contract. And are they really helping people? Some people are out there to help people, but a lot of them aren't. You know, a lot of them just, you know, I got a friend that just, you know, done a bunch of classes, and, you know, he's doing this. These people are acting, you know, you would think, oh, they educated him and he did this, he did that. And, you know, he's, you know, banging the chicks on the side. Like seriously, man. You know what I mean?
That's how it is, man. You know, they got corrupt people running these sober houses, and they're just getting paid. It's all about money. Basically, it's about the dollar. They don't care about the next person, man.
And what it's doing is it's destroying us, man, as a country. It really is. You know, and eventually, man, down the line, you know, our kids or grandkids, they're the ones that are going to suffer from it, Bill. It's all good and dandy now, but what happens, you know, when all these kids, I mean, where are, you know, kids don't even play sports no more.
It's starting to get bad, man. This country is starting to really get a little shifted off its pedestal.
For sure, man. For sure.
It's sad, man. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see where it leads.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, man, I appreciate you. I'll definitely have you on again, and we'll get into your story a little deeper.
It's all good.
Next time.
Man, I appreciate you. Like I said, the thing you did with the kids, I appreciate that. For your viewers that want to check it out, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it. I promise we will not disappoint you. And we got good content. At least I feel like we do, but I'll let you be the judge. You want the book, hit us up for the book. I promise you will not be disappointed, man.
I want to give a shout out to Steve, my boy that was on the show a couple of days ago. He started his own channel. Make sure you go check that out, Real Mob Radio. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Thank you for joining me, man. And thank you for the 2,800 subscribers. I really appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you stay rocking with me, and I'll see you soon. Peace.